Jason, you're a college professor.
Yeah.
Talk me through what this means to kids on college campuses.
First and foremost, this is where helicopter parents come from, right? This is where grade inflation comes from, because this is also about the parents. I want to say that I got my kid into Georgetown. Doesn't matter if the kid doesn't want to go there. It doesn't matter if the kid wants to go to Rutgers or go someplace. The parents want this more than their kids do. And on top of that, they're willing to pay for their mediocre child to get into any institution that they can brag about. I think this is a combination of class, access, and of course race. The presumption of merit that white students get, that students of color do not, is all over this particular story. My kids last night talking about, I teach at an HBCU, my own experience. I had people calling my high school to see if my transcript was correct. I had people calling high schools to see if I deserved to get into Chapel Hill. Every single African-American professional can tell you a story about how they were questioned, how they were scrutinized, how their schools were called in different levels. And that didn't happen to any of these kids, because the assumption was you're white, you're rich, so it must somehow, some way be okay. And I do not believe under any circumstances that some of these students didn't know what their parents were doing. You got teachers in Atlanta who are going to jail, right, for fixing tests. You've got Kelly Willens-Bolar, a black woman who was sent to jail for 10 days because she used her dad's address so her kids could go to a better school. You have Camila Campbell, who was a high school student this year in Florida, who got brought in and has to get a lawyer to prove the fact that she improved her own grades by 400 points on the SATs. Every single one of these parents should be in jail, and they're not going to go because they're white and they're rich and they have access. And what you've got is a guy who basically can't get through TSA pre-check, but you give him a pilot's license, and that's what he's doing right now. As far as Stormy Daniels goes, I mean, the more we find out about this case, the more we find out that, look, if the president had been smart, if he was surrounded by smart people, he could have just hired her as a consultant. The fact that he had to be, he could have created a Hide My Mistress super PAC, and he could have gotten away with this. I don't know if I trust our court system, because at the end of the day, he's the president of the United States, and depending on how much of an originalist the Supreme Court wants to be, which is where I think this is going to end up, they may say, you know what, the final call is always by the president. The other thing is the president can't just fire everybody this time either, right? He can't even use that, because if he fires all these attorneys, it was firing Comey that triggered the special prosecutor and everything else like that. So he literally has to sit and wait for every single one of these cases to play out. He can't use his authority in any of the ways that he's used it in the past. And again, whether or not these go to trial anytime soon, whether or not they hit him the moment he leaves office, they will leak over into 2020, and they will be the kinds of things that continue to drag this presidency down. I don't think the Democrats are in disarray, but I definitely think they need to do a better job of protecting their freshmen. I think what happened to Rashida Tlaib this week, I think what's happening to Congresswoman Oman, I think the leadership needs to come forward and defend these progressive newcomers, because they're being attacked in a way that we haven't seen before, and they need more defense from the people who are supposed to be their colleagues in Congress. The winner of this week is 54-year-old black activist James Hart Stern, the man who saved Black History Month 2019. It was reported earlier this week that James Stern tricked the leader of a neo-Nazi hate group involved in the Charlottesville attacks into turning over leadership of the organization to him. He has vowed, as a black man now running a neo-Nazi group, that he will expose their leadership, dismantle the organization from the inside, and give their website over to anti-hate groups. This is Clayton Bigsby and, like, in Black Klansmen combined.
Yes. Oh my God, that is a darn good. Wow.
Thank you.
You've done yourself proud. Your Twitter mentors might actually be okay after this.
It should be okay after today's show.
That was not bad.
Thanks for watching. To see more videos, click right here, and subscribe.